in another 11 days. Something big, something spooky is going to happen. Something that will change your entire city. What's that? Don't worry, the world's not going to end. Don't worry, nothing bad's going to happen. Why did I say spooky? Because what's happening in 11 days? What day is it in another 11 days? October the 31st. Also known as Halloween. Also known as, well, as my father would say, right? The day of diabetes. So today, I would like to talk about this Halloween and what we should do on Halloween. So you're probably all thinking, what has Halloween got to do with Buddhism? Well, you'll find out sooner or later. But before that, let's take a few moments to worship the Supreme One, the one whose compassion knows no bound, the Tathagata. So to do this, I'd like you all to be upstanding and recite the Namaskar with me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, you may now be seated. So, what is Halloween and why am I talking about it? You see, when I say the word Halloween, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Well, in my mind, the first thing that comes up is the carved pumpkins and children wearing costumes of devils, ghouls, ghosts, vampires, Frankenstein, and all these scary creatures. Or they're wearing costumes of their favorite superhero, Batman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman. Going around, knocking door to door, trick-or-treating. And then there's the Halloween parties. And then obviously, let's not forget, right? What is Halloween without the bucketfuls of sweets, candy, chocolate? And obviously, the Halloween film night. What people watch horror films in the name of Halloween. So, Halloween, or the 31st of October, is an event that many people across the world will celebrate. In the UK, US, Germany, France, and many other countries. Now, Halloween basically originated from a festival, a Celtic festival named Samhain. And it's a festival that's almost 2,000 years old. And to this day, some groups of people still celebrate. You see, they believe that the border between the living and the dead blurred, which means the dead come to the surface of the world, and they get to see part of their dead relatives and other people. And so that's where Halloween first originated from, right? And also, let's not forget that the Romans, October was a month where they'd remember, they celebrated the passing of the dead. So all these factors made this day Halloween. Now, I remember Halloween used to be a really fun time, especially for children, where we used to get bucketfuls of sweets. That's why my dad called it a day of diabetes, which means he made us promise that we won't eat all of it at once. So, why am I talking about Halloween? And how does that have any link to Buddhism? Obviously, Halloween is not a Buddhist festival. There, full stop, the end. But that doesn't mean you can't celebrate it. You see, I want to add a new meaning to Halloween. I want to add something you can do on Halloween. The Celtics believe that the border between the living and the dead start to blur. Whether that's true or false, it doesn't matter. Whether there's a specific reason why October was a passing for the dead for the Romans, it doesn't matter. I want to add something to Halloween. You see, Halloween, in both cases, whether it's Celtic, Roman, and even now, is usually about the dead. Right? Because think about it, right? I don't think that there is a way you can be a ghost while still being alive. It's about the dead. So I believe that Halloween should be a day where we celebrate or we remember the people who have died in our lives. Now, I'm talking to a very wide audience, right? There'll be some of you who have not seen death in your life. There'll be some of you who have seen a lot of death. Death here, there, and everywhere. But I say Halloween is a day where we should remember the dead, our dead relatives, our dead friends, our dead family. Now, this is whether you believe in samsara or this rebirth or the cycle of rebirth. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter one bit. You can take these people. You can take, say, maybe your parents may still be alive at this moment. But you can still remember, you won't remember their names or faces, but you know that you had parents in one of your past lives. So you can remember what sort of things they have done for you. How they love you the same way your parents love you. So this is a day where we can remember our relatives, our dead relatives, our dead family, friends. Put your hand up if you know everything that someone else does for you. Everything. I'm looking around the room. I'm looking through the screen and I can see no one has a hand up. Because we will never know everything that someone does for us, someone else does for us. Unfortunately, we don't. We'll never know how much a friend helps you. We don't know how much a teacher sacrifices for you, how much your parents sacrifice for you. We'll never know. And that's not a bad thing or a good thing. See, a good example is, right? Take your home for example, right? Most of you may have siblings. So I'm just presuming that you have a Tom and Jerry relationship. Well, Tom doesn't know what Jerry does for Tom. And Jerry doesn't know what Tom does for Jerry. It is something that they'll never know because their relationship is probably filled with hate, but not only hate. You see, two people are connected with more than just hate. Tom and Jerry may seem like they hate each other, they despise each other, that they're both enemies, but also they are good friends. You also are the same with your siblings. You know that. You may fight with them, but does that mean that you hate them, that you don't love them? Even if they did the worst thing possible from the deepest corner of your heart, you still love them. You still care for them. You still will do anything for them, right? You will sacrifice something for them. And vice versa. Same with friends. Same with teachers. Same with everyone who cares for you. Now, what happens when they pass away? What happens when someone cares for you pass away? Number one, when they pass away, you'll start crying. And that's normal, right? And soon after, you start grieving and crying, and soon after you remember these people, and sometimes every time you remember this person, it will bring you a tear. You'll feel sad. But after a while, it's almost like they're wiped out from existence. Only thing you have of them is your memories. It's memories then that keeps them alive. Otherwise, they don't exist anymore. So I would like us all to remember all the people who have done something for us. All the people who may have passed away. It could have happened. See, we don't know how much someone loves us, someone cares for us, until they're not there. You see, right now, all around you, all around me especially, there's a lot of lights. Aren't there? How much do we think about these lights? How important they are? It's only when they're gone that when we can truly appreciate what light is. how it helps us do things. Only when it starts to flicker, when the flame starts to flicker, you realize that this light is very important. That this life does so much in your life. You only miss the light when it's not there. When it's either not there or when it's about to disappear. That is human nature. Think about it, right? Outside right now, especially it's only for the people who, not really. Outside right now, if you look up to the sky, what is it that's always there? Well, you can see probably your skies may be different, right? You may have a clean blue sky or a blue sky with clouds. Maybe it's raining outside. Maybe it's snowing outside. Who knows, right? But there's one thing that is always there. Whether it's raining, whether it's snowing, whether it's hailing. But there's a certain time where it's hidden. And that's the night. And I'm talking about the sun. The sun is always there, but we don't take a moment and think about how important the sun is for us until it's not there. Now, obviously, there's not going to be a day in our lives where the sun's not going to be there. But the only time we miss the sun, when it's cold outside, when it's freezing, when it's snowing, that's when we miss the sun. Otherwise, right? When it's like really hot outside, we wish that, I wish it wasn't so hot. I wish the temperature was lower. But the complete opposite happens when the sun is not there. When I mean not there, it's not radiating its golden rays upon us. When it's snowing. When it starts to snow, you miss the sun. Likewise, we don't know how much someone loves us, how much someone cares for us, how much someone does for us until they're not there. So this is not me telling you to love the people who are alive. No, for Halloween, I would like you to remember the people who have died. The people who have died who cared for you. Think about it, right? You may be a child, you may be a teenager, you may be a young adult. It doesn't matter. People have sacrificed a lot for you. People may have even sacrificed their own life for you. We don't know. So Halloween is a day for the dead. A day to remember the dead. Just think about how many people do things for you who may have passed away. Let's take a really obvious one, right? Currently, we're still in the midst of a pandemic. As you all know, the COVID virus. Now, if it wasn't for the doctors, if it wasn't for the nurses, if it wasn't for the scientists, the researcher, the pathologists, the people who make vaccines, if it wasn't for them, the world would still be like it was last year. So if we go back 1 year, so a year ago, do you guys remember how it was? How many people were dying, getting infected, the rates, 100 people, 1,000 people a day. And all that was stopped because of who? All the great people out there. Tell me, when the coronavirus, the COVID virus, was so bad, do you think doctors decided, you know what, the coronavirus is pretty bad, it looks like the end of the world, I'm staying at home? No. In their head, they're thinking, you know what, today I'm going to the hospital. Today I'm going to work. And who knows, while working, the coronavirus, the COVID virus could enter my body. I could get the coronavirus and die. But they did that to do what? To help others. The world is this as it is right now because of these people. Are they not worth you remembering them? Is it not worth it? How many doctors do you think have died in a time? Shouldn't we remember them? Shouldn't we remember these people? What else? Who else has done so much for us? Okay. If you have your wallet or purse on you, take out a note. So whether it's pounds, rupees, dollars, cents, euros, it doesn't matter. Just take out a note. And take out another one and count how much you have in front of you. Where do you learn to count? Now, obviously, you guys are watching this from YouTube, right? And thanks to YouTube, you probably have like recommended videos on this side, right? Wait, if this is live, you're gonna have the live chat here. Just below, you have the recommended videos, right? How are you able to read the titles? All right, how do you read the title of this video? Yeah, you went to school. You learned from school. Shouldn't we be grateful for school? That we are able to read, we're able to put two and two together, literally and figuratively. Shouldn't we be grateful? Of course. Now, as we're trying to remember the dead, right? Your teachers may still be alive. Of course. But what about your teacher's teacher? If it wasn't for them, your teacher wouldn't have known wouldn't be a teacher. Okay, what happens if they're alive? What happens then? Remember your teacher's teacher's teacher. Yeah. I'm pretty certain that they're not there anymore. If it wasn't for them, your teacher's teacher wouldn't be able to learn, wouldn't be able to teach. And if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for that person, well, your teacher won't be able to put two and two together, and therefore you wouldn't be able to put two and two together. So should we forget about these people? Forget about these people and say, you know what, they're dead, and put them under the bed. That's it. The end. Of course not. If it wasn't for them, you won't be able to do anything you're doing right now. Okay. So we've looked at your wallet and your purses and your money. Now, if you can reach into your pocket or even in front of you on the table, you'll see like a rectangle, probably like this big, maybe. Who knows? It may be bigger. That can do so much. What's that? Your phone? Think about the amount of things you do on that phone. Calling, messaging, WhatsApping, Instagramming, Snapchatting, and TikToking, or whatever you do. Playing games, Candy Crush. I don't know what else you guys play on phones, but all of that. You're able to do all of that on just a small device. If it wasn't for these people who had made your phone, who designed your phone, who decided to make a phone, going all the way back to who? The first phone. If it wasn't for Alexander Graham Bell, you won't have the thing that's in your pocket, the thing that you can't not look at. Like, I remember statistics that an average teenager look at their phone at least every 10 minutes. And I remember reading that 20% of people look at their phones, read messages, even when there are big events like funerals. So the thing that you can't, that is irresistible, that's thanks to all these great people. Some of them may not know who you are. Obviously, these people will not know who you are. They might not know who you are, but they sacrifice their time, their money, their lives for you. Is that not a reason why, is that not a good enough reason to remember them? Right. I know I'm being really, I'm making you do a lot of things, right? And I am very sure that most of you are still sat down or still listening to this without doing anything I've told you so far. But do this. If you didn't take out your phone and looked at it, if you didn't take out 2 notes and looked at it, because either you don't have money on you or you just can't be asked, just do this. Lift up your hand. If you don't feel like lifting up your hand, lift up a finger or move your head or some sort. So you were able to move because of what? You were able to move because you had the energy. Now, where did energy come from? Unless you guys drink petrol or diesel, right, for an engine, or you've got some sort of nuclear reactor in your inside of you, or an alien implanted some sort of energy device, or even if you can photosynthesize, it's not for you. But I'm pretty sure most of you can't do any of that. Yeah, I've never heard of someone who could photosynthesize. But if you could, not if you could, which means you guys have to eat food. Food. Take a moment and look at the food that you've eaten. Look at the food that you are eating. Look at the food that you will be eating. Look at how many people had to sacrifice their lives for you, their time for you, their energy for you. You've probably all heard of food miles, right? So that's how many miles, I don't know, food takes from starting point to your stomach. How many miles it takes. Yeah. So, how many miles does it take? Think about it, right? I'm presuming that you are all children, which means you're still fed. Or your parents prepare your meal. Your parents get their food from supermarkets, shops, and all these places. And these places get it from where? From factories, from massive plantations. And where do these plantations get all these? Where do these factories get these? There were people planting trees, people planting the vegetable, the food. These people had to sacrifice. They are willing to sacrifice their lives to feed you. Forget about money. Just take a moment and just forget about money and look at it. They are willing to do things for you. Is that not good enough reason for you to remember these people? Look at what change people have done in your lives. Look about historic people, big ones, who made a difference. Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King. All these people. Are the things that these people have done for you, is that not a reason why is that not a good enough reason to remember them? Of course it is. Now, me telling you to do all this, right, to remember the people who have passed, right, doesn't mean I'm telling you to not go trick-or-treating, not wear that costume. I'm not against you doing all that. To be honest, I would say if you are planning to do it, do it. It's fine. If you want to go trick-or-treating, go trick-or-treating. If you want to go to that costume party, go to that costume party. If you want to watch those horror films in the night, so you can have nightmares and not be able to sleep by yourself, it's fine by me. I'm not saying to not do any of that. All I'm telling you to do is, I'm adding something to Halloween. I'm adding something big to Halloween. I'm asking you to remember. I'm asking you to remember these people. So while you go trick-or-treating, you'll see various costumes. You'll see ghosts, zombies. While you see these things, remember the people who have passed. Remember the people who have passed. So when the Celtics believed that the border between the living and the dead, blood, what we're doing today, no, not today, in another 11 days, is blurring it as well. Blurring it with our memories. Giving a reason to remember these people. Again, I'm going to re-emphasize, this doesn't mean people who have died, who who have died in your past lives. Because some of you may not believe in rebirth, and I'm okay with that. You don't need to believe in rebirth, because there was a point in my life where I didn't. You don't even believe in rebirth. I'm talking about your life now. The people who have died for you, who have sacrificed their life, their time, their money, their energy for you. When you have chocolates, right? Where does chocolate come from? Factories. Factories come where these factories get the chocolate. They don't get chocolate. They make chocolate from what? Cocoa. Where did cocoa come from? The cocoa plant. And these come from? They come all the way from Ghana. Most of it. There, people plant trees for you. Generation on generation for you. Remember. Remember the dead. I haven't even mentioned war, right? Think about how many soldiers have died protecting their country. For who? For you. You've all probably seen war films, right? About soldiers in World War II, World War I, fighting. And it doesn't need to even be like these historic films. Think about other films. Think about even the Avengers. How many of them sacrificed their life to save human race? Save the human race. They're willing to sacrifice their lives. Obviously, they may not be real, these characters. But war is something that was there since history. War or conflict was there since two people met. Because you get the conflicts of ideas, right? That's when it started, but I'm talking about these big wars. How many soldiers that sacrifice their lives? So, again, we come to the question. And how is Buddhism and Halloween related? They aren't. They aren't. But what Buddhists do is they remember their relatives. They remember all these people. And they transfer their merits. All the good things they have done, either today or throughout their entire lives. They tell their relatives, they tell all these dead people to rejoice in these merits and live a happy life. To take these merits and live a happy life. Because if we believe in rebirth, we know for a fact that not that people, when they die, they're not just born as people. They could be born as ghosts. They could be born as demons, as pretas, as gandhabis, as all these mystical creatures, as animals. All of that. They may even go into these fiery hells for all the bad things they've done. don't forget these people. Don't forget these people who have helped you. Who knows, in one of your lives, in the past, that a friend, a parent, someone sacrificed their life to save you. And when I mean sacrifice, I mean like a real sacrifice. Like, in films, how one person pushes another person so they don't get hit by a car, but unfortunately the person who pushed the person gets hit by a car. Yeah. That may have happened in one of your past lives. Who knows? In one of your past lives, someone may have gone hungry, died of starvation just to feed you. They died of starvation just to feed you. Are they not worth remembering? So what we can do, right? So these people are dead. We can't reach over and give them things, right? Some of them may be hungry ghosts, pretas, right? If we believe in rebirth again, right? They may not have anything to eat, anything to drink. But what we can do is transfer our merits. Give them our merits, everything that we've done, every good thing we've done. And the best part is, by doing that, nothing bad happens to you. Your merits, all the good things you do, don't disappear. Instead, they increase. See, the Buddha gives a good example. He gives the example of an oil lamp. An oil lamp can light another oil lamp, and the first oil lamp's flame doesn't decrease, does it? The first oil lamp can light thousands and thousands of other oil lamps, but the flame of the first oil lamp will not decrease. It's like that. Transferring merits. You can transfer it to everyone. And your flame will not disappear. Instead, it'll increase because you're doing more great good things. You're helping others rejoice in these merits. So transfer these merits. So comment. Using the live chat, using the comments down below. Comment those people who have passed away that you will remember on Halloween. It could be your uncles, your aunts, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your grandparents. Don't forget your grandparents. Your grandfather, your grandmother. Don't forget them. Write down their names in the comments, in the live chat. Promising them that you'll remember them on Halloween. You will transfer your merits on Halloween. While you go trick-or-treating, while you go to these costume parties, you will remember them. You will be able to pay back the debt that you owe them. Okay. So that's all for today on this special Vappoya in October. So you've got 11 days. 11 days for until a very big and spooky event, Halloween. So remember the dead and transfer your merits. Okay. And also, thanks to YouTube, right? We have comments and these live chat, right? If any of you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, feel free to drop a comment. And also, if you have any other topics you'd like me to discuss, I'm open for any suggestions. Again, drop in the comments below. And we'll talk about it in the future. Okay. So before we conclude, let's take a moment to transfer our merits. Let's take a moment to transfer the merits we've acquired by making offerings to the infinite virtues and object gem, chanting prayers, listening to Dharma, and engaging in various meritorious deeds today. So first and foremost, let's remind ourselves how incredibly fortunate we are to be received Lord Buddha's teaching. And with immense gratitude, let's transfer the merits to the Bhikshu, Bhikshunis, Upasakas, who since time immemorial have protected and preserved the sublime teaching of the Buddha, and passed it down to the generations of the noble lineage in form of Tripitaka, which is thankfully available to us today to study, to understand, to comprehend Dharma. Let's all take transfer merits to all the members of Mahasangha present throughout the world, including the chief prelates of the chapters, who have dedicated their lives noble path and committed themselves to the betterment of all sentient beings. This also includes the monks and nuns with new local temples and nunneries, who have always been by his side through thick and thin, crown to shine. Let's also take a moment to transfer merits to Guru Sanuwanse, as well as the monks in the monastery, as well as the Anagarikas and Nagarikas attached to the monastery. Let's also take a moment to transfer merits to and express our gratitude to those who made great efforts to simulate the teaching of the Buddha, be that by translating the Dhamma, sharing them with others, inviting others to join them. May through the power of the merits, if any have been born in the world plane, may they redeem themselves and be born in this plane. May through the power of the merits, may they abstain from meritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble path, and attain Supreme Bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's all take a transfer merits to our devotees, friends of the monastery, who for sake of merits continue to sustain the Mahasangha, water, alms, robes, medicines, as well as those who pass on their know-how, extend their well wishes. May by the power of the merits, may they abstain from meritorious deeds, fulfill the meritorious deeds, fulfill the noble path, and attain Supreme Bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.